Right, so here we are.
There we go. Those of you who have been around for a while will know that in chapel we occasionally interview outstanding members of staff and pillars of the community.
You said that, not me, but...
And we've been trying to interview Mr. Fordyce for a while, particularly as he came to the end of his time as housemaster of CAFS. So we've eventually managed to organise this and to do this. So, Mr. Fordyce, it's lovely to see you.
Thank you very much. It's a very strange feeling, this, because I actually finished being housemaster of CAFS on the 31st of March 2020.
Wow.
So it's been over a year now that we've been planning to do this. So it is absolutely grateful that we're actually going to get this, and outside as well.
And outside. We are enjoying the fresh air and the view of the cathedral behind us. How long have you been at Durham School?
I'm now in my 17th year at Durham School. I've said to a number of staff, even recently, I did plan to stay at Durham School for 3 years.
Okay.
But for some strange reason, the school kept giving me other jobs. So I came as a teacher, then I was assistant housemaster of Caffeinites, and I did that for 3 years, and then got the privilege to take over as housemaster of the Caffeinites. 11 years doing that. In between that, I've been exams officer, cover supervisor, head of mathematics as well, and now moved up to assistant head, international liaison. As I say to people, international man of mystery, I believe, mostly because it's a mystery as to what we do, but here we are.
Fantastic. Over your 17 years in the school and many, many years as housemaster of CAFS, what particular things jump out at you and do you remember?
Well, there's lots, but I think the main one for me is a year 13 meal that my wife and I did for them. It was doubled up as a leavers one. We started off as a Burns night, moved to a barbecue, and ended up being a Burns night again. And the kids, although they were a bit apprehensive, especially eating haggis in there, it was the experience, and we could reminisce over stories. I can't repeat many of those stories, but to be able to reminisce, to talk about their times at the school, some of which were 2 years, some of them 5 years, some of them 7 years, and obviously they've been to bowl even longer and anywhere in between. But that sense of community, that's what always gets me, and that's the one thing that I do miss, not being in a house. And then they did need to then, after that, go up into the bowls of Caffeinites and etch their names into the wall. So there is a little
sanctioned graffiti.
Sanctioned graffiti there. I'm not going to tell people where that is, and I'll let Mr. Sturt work out where that is. I think he does know where that is, but it was just a really nice experience to be in.
So lots of fond memories.
Lots of fond memories, and that's the main thing. You know, it's a journey. It always is a journey at school, and the pupils themselves, you know, they come in, they have good times, they have bad times, they go up, they go down, but that journey to get to the end, and I cannot think of one pupil having come to that year 13 meal who would say many things negative if anything negative in there. Everything was very positive. You know, everyone gripes about coming up to chapel, but they do mention that as something that they will miss. They miss doing things, and I think until you get to that year 13 and gone through that, and then start to look back at your time at the school, I think it's at that point that they realise all the things that they will miss coming up to chapel, doing even roll calls in the room together. You know, when we had 128 squeezed into the games room in Caffeinites, it was snug, but they will miss that because it is routine and things that they do like.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, I think, as you say, there are so many things in this school that we do day in, day out, and we're all guilty of griping about them occasionally. And then, if something changes and we miss them and we look back, we realise what an opportunity it was at the time.
It is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is one of the things I will say to everyone, is just take up every opportunity that comes your way. You know, you might not realise it, and when I interviewed all of the CAFS kids, and I tried to do this on a yearly basis, the encouragement to get involved, and some people do a wonderful amount of stuff that we have on offer here, and some just come in, maybe do a couple of things, but please do get involved with stuff, and that's not just to put onto a CV, it's to grow as an individual.
Make the most of the opportunity.
It is indeed. It's always, and it's a corny phrase to make, but it is true, because your time is limited at school, and I thought when I started off in CAFS, I've got years ahead of me, and here's me 12 years later, it's gone, it's been and done, it's part of history, and people themselves are fickle. They really are, because they will only remember the things that they're doing at that time.
Sure.
And then as time goes on, I mean, you know, the pupils in CAFS in particular, some of them, you know, in year 7 won't know me as a housemaster.
Yeah.
Some in year 7 only knew me for, well, year 8 now, in year 7 back then, only knew me for a term and a half in there. And you know, and at some point, nobody will remember me. Nobody remembers my predecessors. So take up those opportunities and do what you want. And you know, little things in there that obviously will keep going.
One question I've tended to ask everybody who I've interviewed in chapel is, if the wonderful people in our science department invent a time machine and you can go back in time and give advice to your teenage self, what would you say to your teenage self?
Don't set yourself in ways back then, because you know, some people do, and some people continue in that job throughout their entire career, and that's fine. But if you were to go back and tell my 17-year-old self, you're going to be working with all these people halfway across the world, I'd have laughed at myself with that. So just take every opportunity that comes your way. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why I ended up staying here, because the opportunities kept coming my way, and to be able to diversify and move into different areas is really, really important. So just go with the flow, I think. Just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
It is.
Fantastic. Okay, one final question. Imagine that we had a big billboard down there and that everybody could see whatever message was on this billboard every day. What message would you put on this billboard to remind people every day?
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life. It is. You've got to enjoy it. You know, things change so fast, and you don't know what's going to come around the corner, unfortunately, with that. Just enjoy the moments and don't let things at the sands of time seep out and everything just disappear from you.
Seize the day and enjoy it.
Seize the day.
There you go. You've heard it from Mr. Fordyce. Thank you very much. And we look forward to getting back to chapel at some point in the future.
Hopefully so. And maybe we can do a part 2 then.
You never know. Thank you.